Welcome to this edition of Inside View. I'm Tom Harmer, your County Administrator. Thank you for joining us today. This is a special taping today because this is my last show. We have a guest with us today, Jonathan Lewis, who is an Assistant County Administrator with Sarasota County, who has recently been appointed by the Board of County Commissioners as the Interim County Administrator effective December 8th of this year. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start, Jonathan, with a quick background that you can share on your personal background, your personal bio.
Sure, I was raised here in Florida, born in Boston, but raised in Florida, so still a Red Sox fan. Married to my wife for 16 years, and we have 2 children who go to school here in Sarasota County, and that's the biggest part of my personal life at this point.
I understand, and I'm sure your family side keeps you busy on top of all the things that occur at work.
They do find a way to do that.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. And so also let's share a little bit about your professional background and what led you to Sarasota County.
So I've been working in local government for about 20 years. I've had the opportunity to work in 4 cities over the past 20 years. I started in the town of Bel Air, which is a small, affluent, full-service community in Pinellas County, and had the opportunity to work in Palm Bay as the Deputy County Administrator, City Manager for about 7 years. And in 2011, my wife and I made the choice to come to Sarasota County and become the City Manager in Northport, Florida.
Well, I think it obviously helps Sarasota County that you have that experience in Northport that you're then able to share as you transitioned here.
Yeah, I think so. I think the other thing that's been useful for me over the past 6 months or so is there's a lot of people both internally and externally to the county that you deal with on a day-to-day basis as an assistant county administrator that I already knew and I had some context for. So it's not meeting everybody for the first time.
Yes, I think it is different coming into a county or an area for the first time versus having spent some time. And you know, the cities and the county work together on a number of different projects. So we've had an opportunity over the time that you were in Northport to work together as well.
Yeah, and seeing them come to fruition from the county side has kind of been nice on some of those projects as well. So I know what we were working on when I was in the city. Now I get to see the result as a county employee.
Yes, and so we also worked together many years ago in Brevard County when I was with the city and you were with the city of Palm Bay. I was with the city of Titusville. We worked through hurricanes together and other events back then, so it was really great when you agreed to come and join our team here.
It was an exciting opportunity. Yeah. You made it hard to say no.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well,
yeah.
Again, we're excited that you're here.
Yeah.
It's obviously been about 6 months. I'm not sure that you're counting, but time has gone by quickly. Your responsibilities coming in as Assistant County Administrator, can you share the areas that you've been focusing on?
Sure. I always give everybody the blanket, though, that I do whatever needs to be done, that day. So obviously that goes without the need to say. But I've had the opportunity in Public Works, our Public Utilities departments, the Office of Business and Economic Development, and our Planning and Development Services folks have been my primary responsibilities. I've also had the opportunity over the past month or so to spend a little bit of time on debris and recovery from Irma, which has been an interesting experience, kind of still being a relatively new county employee.
Well, and if you think about since you've joined us, we were finishing up the budget process. We fit in a hurricane, and we also fit in the World Rowing Championships, and all of that was occurring around the same time. And so we're fortunate. There's 2 assistant county administrators and a deputy county administrator, and I know, Jonathan, you took a lead role, very active in the EOC, but then you took a lead role in the recovery piece, which we're still working on that phase of the operation.
Yeah, that it was a lot more time consuming than I think people had anticipated, but from a staff standpoint. But I've been pretty pleased with how we've come together with our staff and our contractors and have that first phase of collection done advance of the 90-day schedule we had set.
And I know we all appreciate the patience of our community as we ramped up that operation. You know, at some point we've had over 70 trucks out there picking up debris, and it took a little bit of ramp up time for that to occur, but we've really been meeting the goals that we set time-wise.
Yeah, more than 250,000 cubic yards in about 80 days. It's pretty monumental accomplishment.
Yeah, and a lot of times, once people have their power restored, their air conditioning's back working, they can take a warm shower, their phones are working, you almost think the event's over. But in county government, we know as our responsibility, we'll be working with Hurricane Irma for, in some cases, years as you think about FEMA reimbursement.
Yeah, that's right. And what a lot of people don't understand is the number of hours afterwards spent on those things, whether it's the paperwork that has to be done to make sure we get the money back for Sarasota County and our taxpayers, or the people working out at the landfill to make sure we stay ahead of what people are bringing in.
Yeah, so thank you for taking a lead role on that. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that the board has identified you and designated you as the interim county administrator effective December 8th. So as you think about the transition, we've been working together over the past couple of months and trying to make sure it's as smooth as possible. You've served some time sitting in Board of County Commission meetings up on the dais. You've been in one-on-ones with the board members. You've been working with all of the staff, not just in those departments that you were primarily responsible for. But with all that going on, do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share with the viewers about the transition and your role as the interim?
I think the biggest thing I want people to know is that the quality service that they've come to expect from county employees is the focus to maintain. We'll go through iterations and changes as we go, but what the people in the community should expect is a continuation of what the service has become at Sarasota County. We'll work on things internally on what we might want to do, but I think that's the biggest thing the residents need to know is that the service they've come to appreciate and enjoy is exactly what we're still going to deliver.
Good. So how about initiatives? Are there any major initiatives you want to highlight? That we just had some recent ribbon cuttings where we've completed some things, but there's also a number of projects that are underway. Some things that you may want to highlight so that the public's aware of some of the things that are being worked on behind the scenes.
Sure. One of the exciting ones that recently got done, and we had the official opening for, was the new library down in Northport, and took my son there last night and took a picture in front of the library because he checked out his first book from the library. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen as the Venice Library comes up out of the ground. And we get to have that same opening for the Venice Library. I think that's the type of community service that's always good to be able to provide, and you get to enjoy and see the fruits of that coming together. I also think we have a bunch of different sports tourism type opportunities that are set to have an economic impact on Sarasota County and even the region. So the Braves down in West Villages in Northport. The Masters coming next year for Nathan Benderson Park. A lot of those different opportunities I think are an exciting thing to be a part of as we go through the next couple months and next couple years.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you pointed out. And a couple of those, if you think about the library partnership with the school board and the city of Northport, as a city manager in Northport, you were involved in that partnership as it related to working to make sure there was some meeting and conference space available as part of the project. And as the county, we were working on the partnership with the library piece. So it really was that public partnership that you were involved in before you even came here.
Yeah, no, and that was kind of neat. Like I said earlier, it was kind of nice to see that from the other side, to still be a part of bringing something to fruition that I had gotten to start with.
Yes.
And of course, the relationship with the Braves, similar situation. I got to be a part of starting that for the city side of things down in Northport, and got to be a part of bringing home the phases we brought home over the past 6 months or so here at the county.
And I think it was very helpful where you joined us at the negotiating table for the county, and with all of your city experience, I think you were able to help the county, but also help the city bridge that transition, and then we were able to have a successful groundbreaking, and now that project is full steam ahead. So it'll be exciting to come back for that first pitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very exciting.
And so as the assistant county administrator, but then as the incoming interim county administrator, anything that you'd like to share about how you intend to do your outreach to the community?
Well, outreach is one of those things that I have never seemed to have a real problem with on an individual basis. Being in a position that gets a lot of visibility, people are not shy about stopping at the restaurant or when you're in Publix and sharing with you. And to me, the face-to-face is the greatest way to get those inputs. But there's also the more formal. You have to be active. You have to be out there, and it just doesn't come from administrative staff. It comes from all of our staff and listening to the input that they receive from the community. So we can really tweak things to make them the best we can for the community as a whole and for the commission, and make sure our staff are able to provide service. So it's really an issue of making sure that we use the 2 ears we have and not the one mouth.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, the importance of listening
Yeah.
for all of us. And I think, we always have a high bar of customer service here, and we encourage our residents when they have an issue to try and reach out to the one department that can try and help them. And we always know that sometimes they're going to reach out to either county administration or one of the county commissioners, and we'll get it to the right department. But they know that if they call that primary number, that one entryway into the county, that 861-5000, we'll get them to the right person and try and help them. And if for some reason, they're stuck on something, they know that we're here to help them with that as well.
Absolutely. I think it makes a huge difference having that central focus point.
So as we wrap up this taping, is there one particular thing or message you'd like to share with the viewers before we finish?
I think just generally that from an overall perspective, what they need to know is that we're committed to providing the type of quality they've come to expect, and we're looking at the opportunity of enhancing that as we go through the next couple of years, because we've laid a great foundation, and to see where we can take it to the next step in some cases. But that the residents should know that the county employees are committed to providing those services, and we're going to continue to support them as they have to do that.
Good. I know I want to personally thank you for joining the team, and also thank you for stepping up into the role as the interim county administrator. And I know I've enjoyed over the past 4 or 5 months as we've worked together to try and make that transition as smooth as possible and transparent to the public who relies on our services in so many different ways.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. So, and again, thank you for joining us for this edition of Inside View, and thank you for your support as I have served over the past 4 years or so as your county administrator.